Hello and welcome, dear viewers. Today we'll be discussing about globe, latitudes, and longitudes. It's for class 6 geography, and the presentation is prepared by Taslim Arif. Now we'll be going into the details of the topic, that's globe, latitudes, and longitudes. First of all, we must have a brief idea of globe. As we know, planet Earth is not a sphere. It is slightly flattened at the north and south pole and bulged in the middle. As far as this structure of this earth is concerned, it is now called as a geoid. To understand the shape of earth, geographers and cartographers means the people who are expert in making maps, they have come up with a model called a globe. So we can easily say globe is a true model miniature form of earth. Globes may be of varying size and shape. There are globes which are big, some globes are small. We have pocket globes, we have globe like balloons. Globe is not fixed, it can be rotated like spin top. Since we know that the earth is rotating on its axis from west to east, so it's obvious. And if we say globe is a true model and miniature of earth, that means it should not be static and fixed. It has to be a rotating one. On globe, countries, continents, and oceans are shown in their correct size. Now here you can see this is a picture showing grid. That means network of longitudes. These are longitudes and these are parallels of latitude. These are meridians of longitude. These are parallels of latitude. It is because of this grid that we are able to know about different places of earth on globe. So dear viewers, let's have a look what latitude is actually all about. Latitude is the angular distance of any place on globe from the center of globe. I'll repeat, latitude is the angular distance of any place on the globe from the center of globe. Here globe is the representative of earth. In the picture below, you can see that the places on earth on either side in the northern hemisphere are making angles with the center of earth. Here you can see, just have a look. This is prime meridian. This line joining north pole and south pole is prime meridian. Now the line which joins extreme east and west is equator. Then we have, suppose here this is place A. This place A is making an angle of 10 degrees with the center of earth. So for this place A, the latitude is 10 degrees. So we can say what is the value of this place A? It is 10 degrees from the center of earth. That's what we say angular distance of an angle. This is angular distance. It means what is the magnitude of angle that the place is making with the center of earth. In the similar way, one more place, place B is here. This place B is making same angle of 10 degrees. Now we join the two uniform angles, 10-degree angle and 10-degree angle. The line which is drawn here will be called as parallel of latitude, and the magnitude of this line will be 10 degrees. because this has been obtained from uniform angle magnitudes. So I'll repeat once again. There is a difference between parallel of latitude and latitude. Latitude basically means angular distance of any place, and parallels of latitude are obtained from the latitudes. Those are concentric circles. Concentric because on a globe, we'll see these are drawn like this, like concentric circles, parallel to equator. Those are called parallels of latitude. Now, what's equator? Axis and poles. We need certain points of reference and lines to find out location of places on the globe. Since globe is model of Earth, and as we said, we have different continents, different places, oceans, landforms shown very much on the globe. But how can we locate a place, a landform on the globe? For that, what we need is the grid, that is network of latitudes and longitudes. As we said, globe is rotating. Now, on which line and what point it rotates? If we fix a needle through a globe in a tilted manner on which it can rotate the same way as Earth rotates, that that needle will be the axis around which the Earth rotates. Now, what will be the tilt? This tilt axis is making an angle of 66.5 degrees with the orbital plane, which I have already discussed in the previous lecture. Now, the two extreme points of this axis are North Pole and South Pole. The globe rotates on its axis in a particular direction. The direction is from west to east, just as the Earth rotates. So you must bear in mind that the direction of rotation of Earth is from west to east, and equator divides the Earth into two equal halves. One is northern hemisphere and the other is southern hemisphere. The equator is an imaginary circle, an imaginary line. If it is drawn on a two-dimensional picture, then we say it's an imaginary line. If the same is drawn on three-dimensional like globe, then it's imaginary circle, and a very important reference point to locate places on the earth. All parallel circles from equator towards poles are called parallels of latitude, as I said earlier, because the concentric circles are drawn parallel, and those concentric circles are obtained from latitudes. Latitudes are basically angles. When we join similar angles around the globe, definitely there will be a circle formed, and that circle is called parallel of latitude. When similar parallels are drawn parallel to equator towards North Pole, those are called latitude parallels of this northern hemisphere. In the similar way, we will be having parallels of southern hemisphere. And what will be the magnitude of equator? Since equator is not making any angle, therefore its value is 0 degrees. And one fourth of 360 degrees, that is total circumference of the circle, that is 90 degrees, mark the north pole towards north, and similarly 90 degrees towards south. Or parallels north of equator are called north latitudes, and towards south are called south latitudes. Now, there are some important parallels of latitude. Besides equator, north pole, south pole, there are four important latitudes. One is Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degrees north in the northern hemisphere. Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees in southern hemisphere. Arctic Circle 66.5 degrees in north of equator, Antarctic Circle 66.5 degrees south of equator. Why these latitudes are important? Let me tell you. Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn are the two important latitudes. Between these two latitudes, shift of heat belt takes place. When northern hemisphere is close to sun as far as its position is concerned with regard to revolution of earth around the sun, then this tropic of Cancer comes close to sun and assumes the title as virtual equator. In the similar way, when tropic of Cancer, due to changing position of earth, southern hemisphere comes close to sun, it is this tropic of Capricorn which assumes the title as virtual equator. Then Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle, these two reference points decide that regime of climate, regime of temperature change. Because after Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle, the zones are termed as frigid zones. In between 23 up to 60 degree, the zones are termed to be as moderate, I mean say temperate zones. Let's have a look. You can see this is equator. This zone is receiving continuous insolation throughout here and continuous and direct insolation. That's why this zone experiences high temperature regime. So on the basis of high temperature regime, this zone is termed as torrid zone. And at the same time, in between torrid zone and frigid zone, there is a zone that is temperate zone. The zone which is neither too hot nor too cold. I will tell you that there is a system of change. As we move away from equator towards poles, there is decrease in the amount of temperature in both the hemispheres, north as well as in southern hemisphere. Close to poles, the temperature is very low. That's why those are called as frigid zones. At equator, the temperature is very high. That's why that's called as torrid zone. And between torrid zone and frigid zone, there is a zone of moderate type of climate, which is neither too hot nor too cold. That's called temperate zone. These are about heat zones of the earth. It is because of latitudes we are able to decide heat zones of the earth. That's the significance of latitudes. Now you will see in this picture the places receiving direct insolation experience more heat than the places receiving slanting insolation. Very simple phenomena and very simple understanding of the picture, illustration of this picture can be that the areas receiving direct insolation from the sun experience more heat than the areas receiving slanting तिरछी जिन पे सूरज की किरणें पड़ती है वहां पे गर्मी का निजाम भी कम ही रहता है. This was all about latitudes. So now let's go for assessment. First question is what is a globe? Second, what is latitude? Name some important latitudes and mark them on globe. The latitudes are measured in centimeters or degrees. The value of equator is dash dash. Name some heat zones and give brief description of each heat zone. Why is it hot at equator and cold at poles? On two-dimensional picture of globe, mark axes, poles and equator. This was all about globe, latitudes, and this was part 1 of the presentation. Stay tuned. We'll be proceeding for presentation second. Thank you. Thank you very much. Stay safe.